Okay, so after the the previous presentation looks like a wonderful introduction to our case study. So here, again, it's about the business model transformation from Hilti, facing or having felt that without a radical change, they would start going for a price war, and nobody wants to get there. So they had the courage to completely flip their business model, going away from selling hardware and power tools to leasing smart connected tools and having a business model of selling holes. So our outline is, after a short overview of the case study, we will present the selected patent and we will explain which use case is supported by this patent. Then we will look for further patents from Hilti's portfolio which support the same use case. And after that, we will think about further protection instrument for this use case apart from patents, as well as possible extensions of this use case and how to protect through IP. And now I hand over to Ricardo for an introduction of the case study.
Thank you, Christian. So again, here we have Hilti, is a company founded in 1940s in Liechtenstein, has always been focused in the manufacturing of power tools and fastening and protection systems in the construction industry. They rapidly became a world-leading company with high level of innovation within the industry. They always have been developing manufacturing technology, breakthrough construction equipment. But at some point, they realized that customers would really appreciate a different service that was not in the market at that point. So furthermore than manufacturing and distributing their products, they came into the business model transformation and changed the whole story from the equipment sales to a leasing product, leasing contracts to customers and offering complete solutions. This change gave the company a differentiation advantage toward competitors. They offered a complete solution, including maintenance, battery replacement, repair, theft protection, etc., that gave the company many benefits and as well to the customer. This change provided the company with additional revenue from these additional services. The customer satisfaction came through a customized solution, that everything was customized to clients' needs, and this provided a differentiation advantage in the market. And these customers would really appreciate these tailored services and allow the company to charge price premium to the service to customers. They changed the focus. The objective was no longer in the transactions, but in lasting customer relationships. They also created value from no longer from an upstream process. We started from the manufacturer, but they did it the other way around and created from downstream process, starting with the customer. These leasing contracts generated recurrent incomes for the company. And the value that was created was an intangible value. This was created by the relationships with the customer and the value perceptions that the company has in the market. So basically, what they are providing now are not tools anymore. They provide solutions to customers who are very, very happy and really feel very fulfilled all their needs. And this is how the business model transformation has been for Hilti. We have like 3 points that have been basic and key for the success, which has been a really strong management team that has been able to put this into place and make success of it. And then having a captivating vision, doing something that was not done in the market, and align that with a good strategy. And then They have always been intensively investing in customer development, customer loyalty. So their main focus in sales have been this customer loyalty. This has been able to give the company more than 100,000 customers in the market, and being a leading company in the industry. Now Nico is going to handle the use case of Hilti's and how is it protected with patents.
Thanks, Ricardo. The main idea driving its use case is really to improve customer satisfaction and loyalty by increasing the service interval on life of the tools they are renting into their fleet management system. Ultimately, the reason for that will for the predictive maintenance will help decrease Hilti's costs and therefore increase margins. And for that, this patent is on the nailing machine on the right. On what they did actually is to think about the problem of how to extend the service interval, meaning how do we need the tool to be serviced every year, every 6 months, every month. So that has a strong implication in terms of cost for Hilti. And so then they had to know more information about the usage of their tools, and this was achieved by this patent by trying to excludify the use of sensors to sense forces, acceleration, movement, vibration in terms of frequencies and amplitude, so that Hilti knows something about the usage of their tools. That way, the patent also presents how to interpret those data, and it's clearly said, and you see on the right, but it's clearly on the left, that they try to infer the user behavior and the current operational usage of the tools. For example, they could detect incorrect usage and maybe charge the customer more because this customer is not really nice when using the tools. They just drop the tool on the floor and start. Based on those data, they can adapt the service interval. For example, if a customer has 12 machines on the job, just because 2 of them will stay on the shelf for 1 year, just in case of there is a tool which is not operating, then we have to know that these tools were not used, so that those ones shouldn't be a problem to stay longer on the shelf without service operation. There's also everything is aimed at increasing service life. For example, a tool which is rarely used or badly used can be serviced more often, so that we can increase the service life of the tool. It's also decreasing downtime because we know, for example, if there is a strong vibration, a weird vibration in the tool, we understand that some piece is to be changed, so we can contact the customer and ask to give the machine back for service. And also, it's a great way having a sensor to detect potentially harmful situation for the operator. For example, if there is a strong vibration, that might be that something is going to break or something is already broken. So integrating sensors into the machine is a great way to implement predictive maintenance. Next slide. What we could find also in the portfolio of Hilti, before diving into specific patents, we had a look on the general behavior of Hilti when filing patents. And on the top left, we can see that there is a lot of patents in Hilti's portfolio history, more than 4,000. And right now, there is a big 1/3 of the patents that are still alive. Another interesting situation is we can see that 10 patents are litigated, on 128 are opposed. So it's a very active field in terms of litigation, and it's only the tip of the iceberg because the database wouldn't get all the information, for example. And we can see that just before. So we can see that the activity, patenting activity of Hilti is very strong. 150 patents a year. It's a great average. It's covering many countries, specifically the US and Europe. Next slide.
Okay, now let's talk about other relevant patents dedicated to predictive maintenance. To do this predictive maintenance, as explained Nicolas, we need to have data collected from the device. And to realize this, we found 3 patents family. The 3 first one that is very important with a broad coverage, EP, China, Australia, Japan, Korea, Taiwan, for example, for the first one. That very new patent application, that priority date is between 2010 and 2012, so it means there will be a protection until 2030 at least. Claim look quite broad, although it means that can be a little bit hard to design around this pattern, so the protection will be very good. And lastly, we also add the pattern that was described in the group before us, because we think it was important to also show that there is patent related to the telecommunication between the device and some sort of central server that on which all the data will be downloaded. Okay, let's go now. We can go to the next slide.
Yeah, so the next part we are going to discuss about the protecting the instrument in terms of technical and non-technical property rights. So Adrian has mentioned about the patents. So additional to the patents which we discussed, so we can think of having a data management kind of patent where we can explore the option for the acquisition, processing, and triggering action. So these are the factors which can be considered when we are filing the patent application here. The data communication to Hilti's technical service, that is also another area where the patent can be explored. As we can see from the Hilti, so there is a lot of data is being generated, not only by the customer, but also from the operator as well as from the machine itself. So to identify the different type of data, so thinking through the software which can monitor and interpret this data, so those kind of software can be copyrighted. The next part is design IP. For the design IP, so different type of interface can be thought through. From the customer's perspective, who is providing the order of having which kind of tools they are looking at, for how much time, at what cost. So the interface required for the customer is altogether different if we compare that with the maintenance of operator. For the operator, it is the requirement may be very much a technical side, but from the customer perspective, it may be from the finance side. So those kind of thought process can be put forward to design a user interface and can be protected by the design IP. Regarding the next part is the trade secret. So here the group thought that can we think of having a personalized billing services where we can think of price determination based on the size of the company, how many tools they are going to use it, how big the company it is, how loyal they are with the Hilti by looking at their portfolio and criticality of the customers. So those kind of feedbacks can be considered and an algorithm can be made and which can be kept as a trade secret. But at the same time, keeping the price code, all this as a transparent to the customer. So the next part is related to the trademark. So as everyone are aware that it is a reputation for the reputation purpose. So we thought of having the logo on the machine itself and at the multiple places where it can be very much visible to the customer as well as to the operator, because the operator is the one person who is going to give the feedback to the his company that how the tool is going to work. So that part also needs to be prominently displayed and to be conceived by the a company as well as from the operator. So my colleague, the Martin, will present the next part.
Okay, so thank you, Vijay. So we have been quite digging into the use case of predictive maintenance so far, and the last part we would like to present you now is okay. So we know we did the work on the predictive maintenance, but now how can we let's say foresee the future, forecast what will happen, try to find out new space, and to have to find, for example, prospective IP, and to log the future improvement of the use case or the system or the service. So we have here 4 alternatives for the predictive maintenance use case we studied before, that we will go a little bit more in detail in these 4 alternatives. So the first one is about map localization of the tool. So this could be useful for the anti-theft function, or better localization of the tool. So on the construction site, the operator does not look for the tool for ages. And we have seen already, as shown by the group 2, that there is already tracks on the GPS chip integration into the tool. So as we already have a smart tool here with this sensor involved and included in the tool, adding an additional electronic chip with a GPS chip is not, it's let's say the natural next step. We can also think about copyrights for the application, and sui generis database protection rights for the localization app that we can have on the device, for example, a smartphone. The second alternative we studied or we dived into is the real-time tool parameters optimization. So this is, as we have a smart tool in the hands, this enhances the tool to adjust its drilling parameters, for example, depending on the material or the signal it detects from its environment or from its use. So for this kind of alternative use case, we can think about designing user interface if the tool adapts itself to the situation it's into. In this case, it's important to inform the operator that is using the tool. So it has to be informed that if the tool, for example, changes rotation speed or something like that, then it's normal. It's just that it detects that the material is harder than expected or something like that. Of course, we have data processing and restitution that will happen in this parameters-driven alternative, and this is something that we can patent, or that we should patent, I should say. And lastly, here, having a kind of a monopoly in a box approach would be relevant here, similar to the Intel Inside that we have on our laptop computers. Here we can have, if in the case we have a smart tool, it would be really helpful to make the difference between a smart tool and a normal tool with such label on the tool. So the third alternative we studied is about planification and optimization. Now we have gathered a lot of data around the predictive maintenance use case, and we can use this data to support the construction site and the customers to better organize their work and the way they are organizing the operators on the construction site. So this is an optimization logic which is linked to a process, and therefore it can be patented. And we would have some form of platform, maybe an app, for example, with the optimization engine running through. And this is also somewhere where we can file, when we should register our copyrights on the software part. And the last alternative we went into details here is about enhanced fleet management service. We have seen on the previous group as well that we have this famous Hilti red car going into the street and going through also the construction site for delivery and things like that, for new tools, for repairs or things like that. And we can think, as we have we can have a digital patent here, for example, protecting the algorithm triggering the delivery event. And we can think it's a little bit in the clouds at the moment, but why should we move a complete car with an operator if we are able to make this delivery of the spare part or of the new tool or the spare tool by drones? So that's a little bit prospective. So yeah, that was, let's say, an outlook on the future use case that could be interesting to investigate for Hilti. And that was the last part of our presentation. Thank you.